So now that we've identified our ideal executive, we've done all of the assessments of ourselves, we've gone through the 6 steps in marketing to your ideal client, now we need to execute on smart recruiting. For time's sake, I'm not going to go through each one of these, but it's very similar. We saw this pyramid yesterday, didn't we? Recruiting executives is a sales process, just like doing as you're selling to sellers and buyers, you have a process to go through. If you do the 6-step marketing process, your initial greeting, instant rapport, is going to be at a whole different level, isn't it? Hello, Stu, they'll welcome that call. Again, as I said before, your scripting needs to be from a position of strength. Hi, John, I've been monitoring your productivity, and I've been very, very impressed with how you've done business in this market. And I also got to let you know, very few receive a call like this from me. And did you get the videos? Did you have a chance to look at that? Oh, yeah, I got a chance to look at it. Or, oh, no, I'll send you one. You can send them some of those. John, I'd like to have a conversation with you about the best ways for you to advance your business in this market. It doesn't even talk about coming to your company. When would a good time be for us to get together? We need to have that planned approach. That's building instant rapport. We need to come in relationally. All the things we talked about yesterday apply to today. Then, pre-qualifying lead mastery, we'll have more conversations with individuals at that first step. The next step, pre-qualifying lead mastery, this is where we need to ask a series of tough questions. Just like I was talking about yesterday, we don't ask enough questions. We need to ask questions about them as an individual and a company. We need to ask questions about their need and their pain. We need to ask questions about their desire to change and do better, their motivation and ability. Just like that pre-qual script. In fact, our recruitment script, pre-qual script, is about 30 questions. You're going to tell them up front, I have a series of questions. I just need to make sure, John, we're a fit for each other. And you're going to ask all the questions their broker isn't asking. I'll guarantee it. Joe Lamanna, who's regional developer up in the upper Midwest, I rolled this out with them in 2007, 2008. He test drove that with an executive, or not an executive, with an agent. And he had more information on that person than he's ever had in any interview with them. He actually turned him down. And that's what it's geared to do, is to put you in a position of abundance and selectivity. You are the one that is in control of the conversation, and you're finding out everything about their business. We have to be in control. And I had another broker owner who took that pre-qual. Someone was rolling through interviewing them to see which office they were going to attach them to. He whipped out the pre-qual and said, sorry, John, you're just not a fit for our company, and sent them on their way. Puts you in the driver's seat. So we have to get comfortable with asking a series of questions for you to determine if this is a fit for you. But you're creating a lot of value for them, and you're getting them thinking about their business in a way I guarantee the broker hasn't been pursuing with them. And then next, to those people who qualify, that we do the upfront contract. So John, if we take the time to meet and it's deemed that we're the best next step, could I expect you to make a decision to move forward to our company at that time? And he says, well, I don't have enough information. I go, John, I'm not asking you to move to my company now. I'm saying when we meet, if I meet your needs, would you? Or what would prevent you and I from moving forward at that time? What would prevent you from moving forward at that time if we met all of your needs? You see what happens? We do a lot of chasing. We do a lot of presenting to people who really aren't truly motivated. They're out just trying to get all the information. We're wasting our time and theirs. We don't interview with anyone unless we've done the upfront contract, and now we're ready to deliver a dynamic presentation, which our friend Stu is going to show you his. By the way, one of your compadres who isn't here today, Chris Norris, in the program when we went through with him last year, he actually built that, and at the compare stage, the guy was ready. He just jumped in. He didn't even finish the presentation. He said, yeah, you're right, let's go. Let's do it. Sometimes it'll come sooner. But in that dynamic presentation, it's just like we talked about yesterday with the listing or buy presentation. You have inform. First step is inform. When you inform them, number one, of who? First and foremost, What do you have to sell first? Yourself. The reason they're going to come or not come over is you. You're comparing against Keller Williams and blah, blah, blah. The reason they're going to come or not come is because of you as a broker. The next thing you need to sell is your company and the Realty Executive brand. You need to inform them of that. This is a good place to instill your core values and your core purpose. Show that your values and purpose driven. We insert a mini bridge closing question at that time, and that mini bridge closing question, just like we did yesterday, are there any questions regarding myself or the company that need an answer before moving forward? I actually have that available for you if you want. The next step is educate. We educate them on your tools. You educate them on the market trends. You basically need to make the case of why it's important for them to be an executive versus just an agent, what that entails. You need to solve their problems. Remember, we asked those 3 greatest needs. You're going to ask them, John, what are your 3 greatest needs in your practice or your business that if you solved would have the greatest impact? And they're going to tell you why, because they want somebody to solve that. So you tell them, they tell you rather, their 3 greatest needs, and then you say, if I meet those needs, could we possibly do business? Heck yeah! You meet my needs, you show me how to put that in place into my business, you're already removing the lid for them. You have to show them and educate how you do that. You always have to remember that with your process. You also basically in here need to show them all of the importance of being with the right company and right broker in this market. You need to make that case. Now you mini bridge to go to Inspire and say, can you see the importance of being with the right broker and company, especially in this market? Can you see yourself being with the right, or see the importance of being with the right broker and company, especially in this market? Now we move to Inspire, just like yesterday, going through. Inspire, testimonies. You need to talk about your executives that have moved over, just like them. This is a sales process. This is pace and tonality. If they're more of a steady and you're just gung-ho, dominant influencer, we need to do the volume and the push-up thing, right? Just like we did yesterday. If they're high energy, high driver, you need to keep the pace. And if you're normally not, you need to raise your energy and pace. It's also about the visuals. You need to plan that out. Whether it's a packet, whether it's a presentation, you need to have that in place. Your mini bridge close is, can you see yourself benefiting like our executives have? Did you notice yesterday Maurice actually had that on? It was a slide that came up. The questions were up there. He didn't want to miss them. Most of our clients just put that right in there so we don't miss it. Even people that are more introverted or maybe more critical or pessimistic like enthusiasm, but we still need to we need to make it still about them. In other words, if somebody is an introvert generally speaking, and they're not an influencer, if they're a low influencer, that means they tend to be more critical and pessimistic. So if you're more optimistic, they still tend to enjoy that and like that, sure. And it's not losing yourself. It's just matching their pace, your pace with theirs. Sure, keep the enthusiasm and the optimism. If they're critical, don't go critical or pessimistic with them. Yeah, it's pace and tonality.
You got a pessimistic person.
Yeah, and that's a challenge. You need to be thinking. You need to be thinking why you're recruiting them. If they're critical and pessimistic, that would be one thing I would be looking at. Why are we recruiting them? Because they're really getting in the way of themselves at that point. Now, after we do the Inspire and ask, can you see yourself benefiting like our clients have, we go to Compare. That's the feature benefit that I laid out for you. Maurice did that yesterday. Now we say, can you see what separates us from our competition? And listen to what they say. I want to pull out, I want to find out that they're still looking at Keller Williams. I want to fillet them nicely. They're nice people. I don't care who, you need to go into battle. I don't care who they come up with that they're working for. It doesn't matter. You've got the best option. You've got the best program. You've got the best solution. And most importantly, you're the one who has the greatest interest in seeing them become all they can be. Doesn't matter where else they're with. Irrelevant. Realty executive brand. I'm going to tell you this flat out. This brand is the best brand for this market. Bar none. Expect the best. It's about being the best. It's about excellence. It's about being an executive. You're going to them promoting them. Yeah, John, we're not the, you know one of the reasons why we're not the biggest in the market? Because very few people reach this level. Right? The higher you get to the top performers, there's fewer and fewer of them. Executive-minded people, there's not as many of them. But they dominate the market. 5% do 95% of the market. Let's not let our competition become bigger than they are. Sometimes we make them, oh, how do we ever overcome them? Well, it's your small-mindedness, frankly, that's starting that. You change your attitude first about your brand and about you and about the confidence that you have in what you can deliver them and prepare to go meet their needs and go do it. Make that happen. Second place after compare then is obviously your compensation plan. Remember, just like with the listing package, we're not talking numbers. So many times people come in and you want to roll out the compensation plan. No, we're going to talk about ourselves as a company, our values and purpose, the educate, how we meet all their needs. We're going to inspire them. Now, we're going to eliminate our competition. Now we'll talk about our plan. Puts us in a position of strength and selectivity and abundance. Now we'll talk money. We don't want to be commodity, bottom line, what's the most we can give away for them to come in? That's commodity selling. That's not what we're about. We're about excellence. We're about becoming the best we can be. Then, we persuade generally by our guarantees, right? We have our pledges, our promises. We talked about that yesterday. Maurice did a great job on that yesterday. It's all the same stuff. That's why we do this to all industries, because it doesn't matter what you're doing or selling. It's the same process. Motivate is simply asking for the sale. And before that, at the end of compare, when we, by the way, do our proposal, compensation plan, any questions regarding your compensation plan? In fact, the best thing to do is have 3 options. Of those 3 options, John, which one would you prefer? I recommend this plan for you. Which is best for you? Give them options. If they choose one, guess what happens? They just moved in. We already did the upfront contract before we met with them saying, if we take the time to meet, would you be prepared to move forward? Let's not chase these people. Successful people make decisions. Think about that. You need to make it so they can't say no. As we come in under persuade, now we've done the guarantee and the pledge and promise. Now we say, John, are there any other questions that need an answer before moving forward? Yes, no. Remember, identify, isolate, overcome. Everything we said yesterday applies. I'm trying to fast overview this because I'm going to let Stu do his magic.